Yeah. 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 Okay.
So Nyasha, over to you.
Dr. Laurence, I mean, your first response was very insightful, and of what you raised, you talked about the lack of unity that is unfortunately within the borders. But let's go outside of the borders and find out how Gabon is in relation to its neighbors. We know that you are bordered by Equatorial Guinea, by Cameroon, and Congo Brazzaville. Could you talk to us about the relations that you have with your neighbors, particularly in terms of trade? The statistics for Gabon are such that you currently export up to 50% of your GDP, and your imports come up to about 21% of your GDP, which is at the size of about 16 billion. So talk to us about trade with your neighbors.
With its three neighbors, Gabon maintains relations of friendship and fraternity. This is evidenced by the presence in Gabon of nationals of these different countries who live in peace and feel at home in our country. As far as trade is concerned, the countries of Central Africa, especially those you have just mentioned, have rent economies based on the production and sale of raw materials. So trade between them is very limited, with the notable exception with Cameroon, which is the main bread basket supplying food to Gabon and Equatorial Guinea. Relations between Equatorial Guinea, for example, and Gabon are limited to political, diplomatic, monetary, and financial issues within the two regional communities, CEMAC and ECCAS. And this is the case with the other neighbors of these two countries. Overall, trade between Central Africa countries is extremely limited due to the structure of their economies and in complex sub-regional integration. The free movement of people and wealth is not effective. However, this free movement is the starting point of the perfect integration. For example, if someone want to come to Gabon, if Equatorial Guinean or Cameroonese want to come to Gabon, you need a visa. They say you don't need visa, you need a visa. So this free circulation of this free movement of the people, for me, is the starting point of the perfect integration. And the Central Africa sub-region is in reality only a monetary zone and not an integrated area. It is a zone of monetary solidarity only for me.
Okay. Madam Dr. Laurence, you've got very good insights on your region, which is very important for us at Afrospace. And that is why Nyasha has asked you that question. And I also know that Equatorial Guinea, which is your neighbor, and Cameroon also have some of the longest serving leaders in Africa. I believe Equatorial Guinea is #1, Cameroon is #2, and I think Uganda is probably #3 with President Museveni. But again, you know, what we believe is that peace in Africa is very important, even if it's a fragile peace, because we know that there's been a lot of conflict in Africa, and we don't have the resources to be able to manage conflicts and grow the economy side by side, like what we have seen in Nigeria, the fight against terror with Boko Haram. But as a country, given this platform that we're on, given that it's 60 years for Gabon, what is your greatest natural resource that you have as a country? If you can give us a sense of that, how are you leveraging that? But also, what is your biggest economic challenge? I know you've alluded to that a little bit, but what is your greatest natural resource as a country, and how are you coping with, what is your biggest economic challenge?
As I said before, oil is the country's main resource. As I have already said, and as everyone knows, Gabon is an oil producer, and we have just oil, but we have manganese too. I said that we are the first producer of manganese in the world, and to that we must have manganese, of which the Gabon world is leading producer, and wood, which cover more than 80% of the national territory. As Gabon has a cash economy based on the exploitation of raw materials, it is necessary to diversify the economy through manufacturing industry and revitalization of services. This is also urgent because with the ecological issues of preserving the planet, the use of oil will have a downward trend. And in addition to the reserves, which are also drying up. It should be pointed out that the manufacturing industry and the tertiary sector are more inclusive because they provide labor and therefore income. You know, in Gabon, we don't produce what we eat. What we eat in Gabon, our food comes from Cameroon, you know. So it's a very big problem. 60 years after the independence, if you close border with Cameroon, Gabonese will die by hunger. And it's unacceptable, but it's the truth. It's the truth. You know, in Gabon, last year there was lack of cassava because cassava came from Cameroon and sometimes from Congo Brazzaville. It's a very problem. You know, that's why when people see Gabon outside, they see a country with that oil, we have a big GDP, and they think that everybody lives well at Gabon. But if you come, you will see. I can describe the poverty in Gabon. When you talk about that, people think that you are lying, but come and see. It's unacceptable that in this small country, with small population, with big resources, we can provide food for ourselves. It's a very big.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Laurence. Yasha, we're now going to move on to the Minister of Culture at the Ivorian Embassy in South Africa, Mr. Angama Calixte. So Yasha, please take it away.
All right, okay, Mr. Calixte, I'm going to start off by talking about a question towards trade for you as well. We know that Cote d'Ivoire is bordered by Ghana, it's bordered by Guinea, it's got Liberia, Mali, as well as Burkina Faso around it. Could you tell us about how trade is currently happening amongst these nations? We've heard, of issues of movement across on African countries. There's no free movement of people, of goods. How is Cote d'Ivoire doing in terms of trade with its neighbors and the relations?
Thank you very much. I think we have good relationship and good tradition of trade with our neighbors. Fortunately for us, our president, Felix Houphouët-Boigny, accepted the development on infrastructure, roads, and I already said it on agriculture also. So we produce a lot of goods in agriculture, like goods for food, banana, cassava, pineapple, plantain, and even yam. So we export. We share these goods with our neighbors like Burkina Faso, like Mali, like Liberia, and Ghana, even with Nigeria. We share also electricity with Guinea, Guinea-Conakry. We share electricity with Mali and Burkina Faso. And for, long term, also we share electricity with Ghana. So we have very, very good relationship in terms of trade. We also, during, the term of Felix Houphouët-Boigny, we used to buy oil from Nigeria and make the refinery. We will find the oil in Abidjan and sell it to Angola and to Nigeria. We don't produce a lot of quantity of petroleum, of oil, but we have a refinery in Ivory Coast who is in in good relationship with Angola and Nigeria. You know that Nigeria is not our neighbor. We don't share frontier with Nigeria because before Nigeria we have Ghana and Benin, but Nigeria is our second, since 2018, Nigeria is our second partner in trade. It was France, after China, France, and then it was Nigeria. Since 2 years, Nigeria is our second partner in terms of trade. So this is a very, very good thing for Africa. You know that for a long time we didn't have trade between African countries. We take our timber, our cocoa, our cashew nut, and we go to India, to China, to France. But I think since a while we have good, regional trade between our countries, especially in West Africa. And this is due to the politics we developed with ECOWAS. ECOWAS is economic, West African Economic Union. So with Ghana, Liberia, Nigeria, and Senegal, and also, I think we have started something that can be appreciated. It's a very good thing. But there is a lack of trade with the other country, like South Africa, like Egypt, like Gambia, like Kenya. So the opportunity of African free trade is for us. I think it's a very good thing for our country. We are among the countries who have signed and ratified the free trade agreement of the AU, African Union. So we expect, because like South Africa, Morocco, we export many food and agricultural products. So we expect that we are not going to focus just on France, on China, but we will export to Ethiopia, we will export to Kenya, to South Africa, and many other countries. So I want to congratulate Ethiopia. Do you remember that in the 80s, Ethiopia was in a very bad situation? There was a very bad situation in Ethiopia. And actually, Ethiopia is among the African countries who are doing very, very well. We are doing very, very good. So we have to be together. We have to share our experiences. We have to share our, resources among us. South Africa can share with Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast can share with Ethiopia, and so and so. So the African unity that we are been for long talking about shall not be just something that is not concrete. Actually, we have the occasion to make it concrete, to make it real. So
thank you.
I'm very happy for that. And I want to thank you guys, Tunji and your team, for giving us a occasion, opportunity to share all this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Calixte. You've spoken very well. Now, the question that I wanted to pose to you, and it's going to come in many forms, but I want to capture some of the things you said. We all know the great man, Houphouët-Boigny. In fact, you guys are lucky in Cote d'Ivoire because you had one president for 33 years or so in Houphouët-Boigny. At the same time, we had in Nigeria, same region, Kwame Nkrumah was removed in 1966. Tafawa Balewa was removed in 1966. We then had another president in Nigeria, Aguiyi Ironsi, who was removed within 3 months or 6 months. And then we had Gowon, and then the coup, and the rebel leader of that coup, Colonel Ojukwu, ended up in Cote d'Ivoire. And I know that there's a significant Yoruba population from Nigeria in Cote d'Ivoire. And I also know that since Houphouët-Boigny left, Cote d'Ivoire has had its own fair share of instability with Robert Gui and Konan Bedier, and we had the Alassane Ouattara and Gbagbo problem. Now, given that Cote d'Ivoire is a significant player, not only in terms of ECOWAS, but in the entire CEFA region, if you like, Francophone region, and also given that you have the African Development Bank, in the same way that Ethiopia hosts the AU, you are hosting the African Development Bank. And also, given that you talk about your prowess in agriculture, how are you as a country, and I know you're going into elections later in the year, how is you as a country, how are you helping to expand the dream of Cote d'Ivoire as an economic giant in West Africa? How are you leveraging that? And I know you mentioned a little bit about trade with Nigeria, but where is the Ivorian influence in Africa from a trade perspective?
Our influence, I think we share this influence with Ghana. Remember that we are the first largest producer of cocoa in the world. And with Ghana, we produce the 2/3 of the world wool production of cocoa. So this is our big, force. And we have made a very good agreement with Ghana to share our strategy, international strategy in terms of sustainable development of cocoa industry. You know that the chocolate industry is led by the Western countries, but they don't produce any kind of cocoa. We produce. We are the producer. But in terms of gain for our population, we don't have 10% of this trade. So Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, we have been together, we are pushing things together to lead the trade, the world trade in terms of cocoa. So this is one point. The second point is about energy. You know, Africa, we can go forward, we can be developed without energy. So we in Ivory Coast with African Development Bank, I think with Nigeria and Senegal and Ivory Coast, like these three countries, we are pushing for a very powerful policy in terms of energy, because you can develop if you don't have energy. So this is one of the issue we are trying with African Development Bank to address.
Yeah.
So, and I can also add something. You told me about election, about crisis in Ivory Coast. Yes, you know that after Ufobonyi, we have been in the same situation like Ghana in Nigeria in the 1780s, and during 10 years we have been in crisis. But the last 10 years, from 2010 until now, we have been able to come back and to address our problem of instability, political instability. So yes, we have good hope that the upcoming election will be fair, will be peaceful, like actually Ghana is doing, like Senegal is doing, and we hope that the 2020 election will be very peaceful, and we also want our neighbors to help us have fair and peaceful election.
Thank you very much, Mr. Angama Calixte, the Minister of Culture from the Ivorian Embassy. Thank you for your exposition, particularly for sharing with us the economic levers in energy, Nigeria that you're building, and also the partnership with Ghana that we first heard from President Akufo-Addo of Ghana last year in Johannesburg at the Africa Investment Conference. Yasha, I think we don't have much time, so we have to go to Mr. Abdelkerim now.
Right.
Yes,
if I can just point out that we are 2 minutes out from the initial time we asked that our event will go up until, which is 11:30. With your permission, if you allow us to extend that by a couple of more minutes as we get through Mr. Abdelkerim's questions, and then finally Richard Kabeya, who is our event sponsor, will also then close off with a little bit more detail on what Grey Dot Telecoms is doing on the continent. So coming to you, Abdelkerim, I'm going to ask firstly, in terms of trade again, can you give us a picture, paint us a picture of how Chad is doing in terms of trade on the region with their neighbors? You have Niger there, Nigeria, Libya, Central African Republic, Cameroon, and a small border there with Gabon. We know that your GDP currently is sitting at about 11.27 billion, and your imports and exports are roughly really close in terms of the GDP, sitting at around 36% for imports and 37% for your exports. Let us know how trade is going on for Chad at the moment. Would you kindly unmute your microphone, please?
Yes, sorry, excuse me. The situation is worse. It's very worse because our economy was not built to be autosufficient economy. And we depend for like 80% of our economy are to import from foreigner. Because of crisis of coronavirus, border was closed, and our population and economy are suffering a lot because we have not a lot of industry to support or to give what we are importing. So there are many challenges right now. But I want to speak about our relationship between Chad, Nigeria, Sudan, and other countries. You know, our relation is very good. century of before that our country exists, during this like African empire, the economic relation between all those society is very deep. That's why now 70% of exchange between Nigeria, Chad, Cameroon, Sudan, Libya are informal. It's not formal economy. People are like really doing a very good economy, but informal economy. So that's why when you speak about GDP and all those statistics, does not show the reality of our economy and our situation. And the impact of like 11 billion that you said on the life of Chadians is not same. You cannot have a measurement, real measurement of this impact. When you saw Chadian economic level, when you see how the Chadian don't have access to electricity, don't have access to healthcare, don't have access to their income by years is very, very, very low. That's why I don't repeat what my sister Laurence Ndong said about the political consequence of in the country. We have the same problem politically. That's why I say that our challenge is now in Chad, we are struggling to have a leadership who can have a good governance, have visions, and build something. If all the country energy, like the youth energy, civil society, everyone is just to make a good governance regime, the economy is not work. And in the face of us, you have a power who use all our energy, our income, our money, our everything, don't invest in the economy, but invest in the military way, who permits them to keep their power and their security. That's why when you said that we have 11 billion GDP oil income in 10 years, you can see that 60% of all those money was invested in military staff, not in economy, not in the healthcare, not in education, not in agriculture. No, they didn't use all this money to diversify our economy. We have
okay, Mr. Abdelkerim, just to ask you another question. Yes. First of all, I must congratulate you. It's your 60th independence anniversary in this month. That's important. And but also to say that we in Nigeria, we have a lot of respect for your president. In military terms, Chad, what you guys have done with Boko Haram recently, your president led some troops.
No. You are mixing.
Okay, just one second, Mr. Abdelkerim, just 1 second. I want just to ask the question. I'm just giving you context of what we are facing an insurgency in Nigeria, and we have a lot of problems in that area. And I know that Chad, you mentioned that militarily you have invested a lot as a country, maybe because you have a lot of neighbors that are also fragile. In terms of your neighbors are quite fragile. But the question I wanted to ask you, Chad, what is your major natural resource that you have, like Nigeria has oil, and then what are your economic challenges around that? Just give us a sense of that.
Yeah, I quickly answer you because you said something is very hurt me, because what Chad is doing in fighting terrorism is not Idris Deby of Chad, it is people of Chad. Is really fighting those terrorists. So you have to congratulate people of Chad, not a Deby, because Deby is.
I congratulate the people of Chad. So, what resource do you have? Your major resource?
In Chad, we have many resources. First, we have oil. We have agriculture field. We have like lake sheds that we share with Nigeria, who have a huge potential of fishing everything. We have like in pastoral farmings, you know, animals, everything. We have a lot of. We have Arabic gum. We have like uranium. We have many natural resource, unexploited one. So we are our big challenge is now how to build an industry who to exploit. I don't know in English what meaning, but to make exploitation of those resources and sharing with our neighbors, and how to build infrastructure like roads, train, everything you want to unlock our country. Chad is a locked country. You have not access to the sea. But many countries of Africa have access to sea. So the big challenge is how really to unlock Chad. So if we unlock, we have many things to check and to make like many strong exchange with our first neighbors country and maybe in the another one after. But I really want to tell you that to do all this, we need a good governance. We need to have a very justice, a good justice, because you cannot ask Nigerian industrial or Nigerian businessman to come to Chad to invest, and they know that there are not security. If there are no stability, they never come. So to call Africans to come to invest our country, we have to have a favorable business climate there. They will be sure that their invest will be safe. There are not corruptions. They want, that's our big challenge in Chad, in Nigeria, I don't know, in Cameroon or in some country of Africa, is the lack of safety of investments. And the second problem that we have to manage is that our economy is ruled by European country economy businessman. If you saw the telecom field or economic field in like Bolloré in Cameroon, everywhere there are European companies. Why we don't give priority to African entrepreneurs? That is a big problem. So if you want to come to invest in Europe, if you are not European, you cannot, because they give you 1,000 of difficult rules. You cannot follow it. So we have to do it. Prioritize all African entrepreneurs to be the priority and have access to our economy, our markets. So Chad is a field that we can do everything. First of all, is we have to build a policy who have a good leadership, who have a I don't know, everything that country need to be efficient. You have to help other people who are fighting, struggling to reach this level of governance. That's why.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdelkerim. Sorry, it's just because of time. We'd have loved to carry on, but you made some valid points about good governance, about the need to leverage the assets and the resources, create the enabling environment. Security is important. Peace is very important. And I know, again, when I say that if a country has a president for long, it can be a good thing as well, because war, there are too many countries in Africa that have fought wars and it has affected the economy. So we'd rather have stability with challenges than war, because Africa, we don't have money to fight war. And people suffer and they become refugees and they become internally displaced. So with those words, Nyasha, you want to introduce Mr. Kabeya to the proceedings, I believe.
Right.
Mr. Nyasha, probably before we go to Richard on what Abdelkerim mentioned, just one second to say, I think the Nyasha and Abdelkerim, if you really help us through your platform to reach out to, we have what you call the African peer review mechanism, which the APRM, that is supposed to work around the continent to look, including the governance, how the governments are doing their works. And that was why I was emphasizing, it's always good to recognize the existing institutions, then help those institutions to operate. At times we have already created, for example, the Africa peer review mechanism. It's not about to blame and then to how do you call it, to shame anyone else. It's to learn and to improve and to move forward. My sister from Gabon, she brought a wonderful issues. Abdelkerim, the same. We are probably in the continent, we are on the same stage where we have to push our AU and AU member states to trust and respect their own organizations, so that organizations like African Peer Review Mechanism will tease out some of these issues, bring forward for the countries themselves, for the people of those countries, member states themselves, because they deal basically on the internal issues, and also they reflect as a continental significance as well. So I just wanted to pinpoint that element through your mechanism, through your voice, to reach out even, for example, the Africa Peer Review Mechanism or Pan-African Parliament, who are sitting in the Republic of South Africa, and also in terms of the development initiatives, the NEPAD, who is still in the Republic of South Africa, what they are doing in this respect, basically respecting these organizations as well.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Thank you so much, Ambassador. What I just wanted to say before Yasha brings Richard, our sponsors, on from Grey Dot, just to say to Abdelkerim, and just to echo what the ambassadors just said, I believe that with what you're sharing to us about Chad, for example, President Ramaphosa is the chair of the AU peer review for the next 2 years. The Pan-African Parliament is in South Africa. Also, there's an AU peer review mechanism office in South Africa. And I believe that the Pan-African Parliament, they have 4 vice presidents, and the president, the clerk, is from Malawi. So those continental bodies, Abdelkerim, you have to engage them. We can also bring those leaders of those continental bodies, because most of them are in South Africa. Of course, Faki Mahamat is from Chad, is the AU chair. So I believe that we can begin to have these conversations on a continuous basis, especially because this is the year of Africa, when 17 African nations turn 60. So I think this conversation will be ongoing. So Abdelkerim, we appreciate your inputs. It's very important. Chad is a regional, very important country in Africa. You have neighbors with Libya. Libya has also got some challenges there. So we thank you for those comments that you've made. They're very important comments.
Yeah, I think
Yasha,
if I can chime in as well, and just to appreciate the comments from the ambassador in highlighting our need to engage these bodies to start to, just bring a bit more attention to some of these issues. I, for one, coming from Zimbabwe, we're also, experiencing serious governance issues and human rights abuses there in Zimbabwe. And it's so critical and crucial that our countries get the support that they require from our neighbors. It's good and well to talk trade and business, but if we cannot take care of the stability and the peace and the security of the people and the nationals in those countries, I think we will have done ourselves a big disservice. So Ambassador, will certainly take you on your advice for us to find a way to make these conversations happen, and to create the platform here at Afrospace for those conversations. And with your support, we definitely can make those conversations happen. And with those words, I will take us to our very last item on our program today, and that is a presentation from Richard. He did come earlier to greet and to welcome our guests earlier on, and now he will get into a presentation where he will talk about Grey Dot Telecoms, the exciting ventures that they're having on the continent, and the technology that they're bringing onto the continent. Richard, without preempting your conversation and your presentation, can I ask you please to take this moment to enlighten us on Grey Dot Telecoms?
Thank you, Nyasha, and thanks, colleagues, again. Very moment, and I like what I heard, and this is heartwarming. Well, I'm just going to be very brief and just introduce you to Grey Dot Telecoms. Sorry, I was about technology. The reason I want to talk about technology is that sitting now in different countries, like you guys can see it, We've been talking, we've been discussing, we've been exchanging, and we agreed on so many things. That's the beauty of technology. So Grey Dot came in as one of the leading unified communication platforms. This is another solution to African problems. Africa, despite all these resources that we mentioned, we are not rich citizens of our countries. Let me take one example. The cost of calling is something that every African is crying about day and night. We cannot afford to make calls, simply calling, which is something that we were created, manufactured by God to be able to do. We have to talk. So now, when you are remotely finding yourself, how do you talk to people? That's why we brought technology in the middle. You've seen companies like MTN changing the landscape of Nigeria with telecommunications. You sit in one city, let's say in Lagos, and you have to go to Port Harcourt to get your good and come and sell. Now you can just order telephonically and organize that that's good to arrive at your doorstep. So Grey Dot, for the past 2 years, we've been playing in a very interesting space, which is the unified communication platform. What do we mean by that? One single place, one single application that does almost everything for us. Remember, Africa is full of skills, like I said. Now, when you talk about mobile money, you only find a largely developed portion of that technology in Africa, like your M-Pesa. And right now, we're doing everything on the phone. So as Grey Dot, we came up with a solution that brings about voice calling, very cheap voice calling. In South Africa, we make a call at 35 cents per minute. You know what it means? It means 5 rand South African gets you 15 minutes talk time. And this is the same quality of any other call that you get. So most of us, like I always say, are using WhatsApp. Well, where does come WhatsApp? Who knows where is their office? We use it. We just support them. But we have solutions that are crafted here, right here on the continent. Solutions that are very advanced, and we need to see, this is me now talking to Mr. Ambassador and Minister, we need to see those kind of JVs. We need to see this kind of collaboration whereby companies like ourselves find doors open to countries. We want to become a truly Pan-African company. Right now we are in South Africa, where we just, moving toward 550,000 users in about 2 years. And we have just launched in Botswana. We're just going to be starting operation in Zimbabwe. And the city of Bulawayo actually is going to be one of our strongest partners, where we will be doing all remittances for them. We are going to be launching in Namibia, in Kenya, DRC, Congo Brazzaville, and soon Nigeria. So we are looking at making this a reality. Let's do tangible things, tangible stuff, and do exchange between countries. We want to see Grey Dot helping the citizen of Ethiopia, helping the citizen of Ivory Coast, of Nigeria, of Chad, because now we are bringing affordability to our people. And everyone in this country should be able to just pick up his phone, make calls, make payments, and start a business on the phone, because job is the biggest other setback that we're experiencing. We need to create jobs for our people, entrepreneurs that will wake up in the morning, pick up a cell phone, and come back later with food on the table. So just like I said, being brief, that's what we are about. And again, we thank you, Nyasha and Motola, for this opportunity. Now we have a Zoom conference call. Next time it's going to be a Grey Dot conference call. We have the same tool, much more secured, and we're just finishing the last portion of it, and we'll give it to you on the continent to be using for conference calling. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Richard Kabea, Chief Sales Director for Grey Dot Telecom. We're very proud of what you guys are doing. we believe in, we need to create African brands. Because when you look at the top 100 brands in the world, there's no single African brand there. That is painful. Yeah, there's not a single one. And I'm sure even if we move up to 200, there probably is none in the top 200. And if you look at the richest people in the world, I think the only African in the top 100 is Aliko Dangote. So we have a lot of work to do. And I always say that we have 55 countries in Africa, and Europe has 26, 27, depending on which side of Brexit you're on. So we have double the countries in Africa, and we have double the population of Europe, yet we see many people running away on rickety boats through Agadez and Tripoli, trying to get to Europe after 60 years of independence. That can be the right optics. Even in the media space, we glorify CNN and BBC and Al Jazeera, yet we have some of the richest people on the continent, but we don't have our own CNN. So hopefully maybe Afrospace will take that space that exists for us. But we thank you for, yes, but we thank you for coming to share with ambassadors. And
yeah, Richard, it may be also good if you share or link what you are working, so that we'll keep on promoting and communicating the same. Probably if Adetrinji or Nash, if you could help us to get the addresses and brochures from Richard, so that we'll start to work on it as well, which is very, very important.
Which I'll do so, Ambassador. Thank you, Ambassador. So with this one, Yasha, unless you've got anything to add, I will offer the vote of thanks. Yasha, should I go ahead and do that?
And I will offer also to sponsor your next Zoom conference, you guys, if you wish to do so. And
thank you so much, Ambassador. We appreciate that. Thank you very much, Ambassador. Thank you so much. Now, with those words for the Ambassador, we're actually very excited about the sponsorship. We love being sponsored. We want to reach every single African country with our coverage. Because we're online, I think that is practical to expect. So with those words, I'll say thank you very much. First, let me start with the lady, Dr. Laurence Ndong, for short notice. I think not more than 48 hours for you to respond. We thank you for that. Also, Mr. Abdelkerim Koundougoumi, who's based in Paris from Chad, very passionate about your country. We love Chad. I went to school in Maiduguri in Borno State, so we're not far from Chad. We used to get a lot of people from Chad coming to Maiduguri to do their shopping. So we thank you for that. Minister of Tourism, Minister of Culture from Ivory Coast, Mr. Angama Calixte, thank you so much for your insights and for giving us very good information about the partnerships that Cote d'Ivoire is entering into in the energy space, in the cocoa space. We really applaud President Ouattara and his team, and also thank you for hosting the African Development Bank, which of course has a Nigerian as the head. So we're very proud of that relationship that you have with Nigeria. Of course, we must thank our amiable ambassador to South Africa from Ethiopia, Dr. Shiferaw. This is your second outing on Afrospace. We hope to see you again. As we asked you the last time, we want to feel the influence of Ethiopia more and more, but we salute your President Abiy Ahmed, who is the latest winner of the Nobel Prize for Peace. So we're very proud of Ethiopia. We're waiting to travel to Addis, and we're waiting for our invites for the Enkutatash, the Ethiopian New Year, which is on the 11th of September. So we're very proud of this partnership that we're developing with the Ethiopian Embassy, and we encourage you to continue to provide leadership for the African continent, given your very rich history of non-colonialism. So we thank you for that. And of course, lastly, I have to hand over to Nisha just to do the protocols for us to sign out. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming to our 8 at 60 independence anniversary of 8 countries in the Francophone region of Africa. We thank you very much. From Nyasha, me, Adetunji Omotola from Afrospace. We say thank you very much. Good morning.
All right, thank you so much, Adetunji. Just again to put our heartfelt gratitude towards Grey Dot Telecoms as well. Richard, thank you so much for your team and for coming on and supporting this great occasion and making it possible for all of us to have these very important conversations. And I think for me to end off, I'm just going to ask that each one of us give a salutation in their local vernacular language, that as a way of saying goodbye. If you would like to say goodbye, see you later, or whatever encouragement that you'd like to leave for the African audience, for the audience that is going to be watching this, I would appreciate that. And I'll start off, and my farewell is in Shona, which is a Zimbabwean language, and I will say Sarai Shakanaka.
And I will say in Yoruba, it's Odabo. In Igbo, that is spoken by 18% of Nigerians, is Kachifo. And in Hausa, which is spoken by 29% of Nigerians, is Segobe.
I'd like to say አመሰግናለሁ ከልብ አመሰግናለሁ እንኳን አብረን ተገናኘን ለእንቁጣጣሽም በዓላችንን አብረን እናከብራለን መልካም ጊዜ ይሁን
Okay. Minister, Cote d'Ivoire.
Because we say Akwaba for Tamana and Ayoka. Say thank you very much.
Okay. Dr. Ndongo.
In Gabon, we have many languages. So in my own language, in Fong, we say Meka, and in another language, we can say Maje, le sila mauvais, et in Punu, we say Nima Wende. Thank you so much.
And Chad, Abdelkerim.
In Chad, we have 175 languages, but we have a dialect. It's very good, riches. I am happy about it. But we have a common, inside Arabic language Chad, we can say very popular expression is Agodu Afi. That's meaning be safe and goodbye. And we are very happy. فرحانين ونشكركم كثير وأقول عافية إلى يوم آخر من
Thank you. And Mr. Kabea, Congo.
Well, in Congo, Chiluba, we said Nwasha Alabimpa. In Tswana, we say Tlagubona.
Thank you very much. Anyasha, we gotta go.
Yes, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. God bless Africa.
Okay,
God bless
thank you.
Africa.
Congratulations for all of you who are celebrating.
Thank you. Congratulations. Happy Independence Day, Cote d'Ivoire.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.